going on, everybody? I am Grayson. I was gone for a little bit. I was sick. My voice is somewhat back now, so I can actually talk about what I want to talk about. Nothing more prevalent right now is Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man, when it first came out, I heard a lot about it. This was like right when I was getting into anime, like prime time, but I always heard it was a gooner anime. And at the point in time, I was unwilling to try the weirder stuff that anime had to produce, fucking with like the Demon Slayer, the Death Note, the stuff that like the common people would know from anime. And I just was unwilling to touch anything else that was in a sphere of things, and kind of pushed it off until recently. I just generally didn't think about it. It was more of like I'll get to it sometime. But then I've been in the theater a lot, obviously. When I went to watch Shin Godzilla, they showed a trailer for the new Chainsaw Man movie. I was like, man, that anime came out a long time ago. Did they come out with season 2? No, they did not come out with season 2. And then I saw it when I went to go watch Perfect Blue, so with the trailer, and I was like, okay, I have to give this a shot. The trailer sold me on what Chainsaw Man could be, and I was really interested in how we get from goonery anime, from what people are claiming, to what was being shown to me through the trailers. And that required me to watch Chainsaw Man, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Chainsaw Man and the Reze arc. I'm going to call it the Reze arc because that's kind of how they say it. Chainsaw Man. I have so many thoughts about this show. And I'm going to start with the basics. Let's start with the basic shonen bullshit of it being an action anime in its power system. And I found it actually to be a lot similar, very similar to JJK's power system, as in the more that someone fears it, the more that someone knows about the power. In the case of JJK, the more powerful they get. So Denji, as the main character, is the Chainsaw Man. Chainsaws are this frightening thing to people, and it gives them more power. And that leads to the big villain of this like overarching haunting image of the Gun Devil. It's such a good way to like. The Gun Devil is such a cool way of storytelling, because we haven't seen the Gun Devil yet in the anime so far, but we feel its presence always. It's like a haunting presence over the narrative. Because they're hunting the Gun Devil, they want to find the Gun Devil. Why is the Gun Devil hiding, first of all? If it has this overwhelming presence that is this powerful thing, and it's the Gun Devil is helped out by real life circumstances. We live in a day and age where gun violence is super prevalent, so we give our subconscious bias to the fear that the Gun Devil is supposed to have and supposed to control, because we have that personal experience with it. And I think that's so cool. Whoever wrote Chainsaw Man, using our real life like fears and like I'm gonna talk about it in a little bit, but like our real life fears to kind of feel its power system in a way that's easy for us to understand, because we are the people that it's based off of. Super awesome. Love that aspect of things. I think it's an awesome little detail. That helps a lot in the narrative build without having to go that deep in. Besides, hey, the devils get more powerful based on the fear level that they attract, and that's all we need. And then you just give us what the devil's name is, and we instantly know what the fear factor, what the power level of this certain devil is, and that's awesome. It's amazing. The first 6 episodes have this like normal shonen vibe to it. And then I understand where people get the misconception that this is a gooner anime. Denji's main goal for the first like 3 episodes is to touch boobs, and I get why people were like so turned off by that. And then they summed it up to that he's just a gooner, and that he's just like this perverted character like we've seen so much in anime. But I think we forget that Denji was like what, 10 years old when he was told that he has to pay off his father's debts. He was allowed to go to school. He was just allowed to hunt devils. That was all he was allowed to do. And it leads to this idea. It's a central idea of Chainsaw Man, besides the fear factor of everything, is that Denji just wants to be loved. That like he is struggling how to formulate love. He has never been shown love in his whole life. His dad killed himself. And then he was basically a gun for hire, and that was his main like social connection in his life. There was no love between them, but he had this want to love someone. And then Makima comes around after he gains Pochita's abilities, and Pochita was the only thing he actually loved. That's more platonic love. But the romantic love of things is the issue here. That's why he's so easily manipulated. He's dumb because he's not educated, but he's more easily manipulated because he's never shown love in his life. So the mirror essence of someone being kind, even if it's like pretty obvious that they're using it for their personal advantage, like Makima is, it's a powerful message that is told here, that through Denji's perspective that we are walking through, that they are that these people are definitely using him. It's not like they're not shying away from the fact that Makima is using him, and that power even is using Denji, but the fact of that he's trying to still like find the love there, and is so blinded by the potential factor of a loving relationship between him and another woman, that it lends himself to this manipulation and to be used as a weapon that he is such a destructive weapon that ends up being useful to them, and he misguides that usefulness as an act of love. And I find that so fucking awesome, that it's this layer that is easily missed by the people who kind of just like weren't really paying attention, but it is such a pivotal factor in the anime, into the story, and it continues to like drive the narrative even into the movie, which we'll get into in a little bit. There's a pivotal factor to it, and I love it. I think it's a great examination. A man's want to love, and the only way he's showing it is through hypersexuality and acts of kindness, and it's a when we're living in a world of like a male loneliness epidemic, where men are so poisoned to the idea of a woman's companionship, that a man is looking for companionship, and is that companionship that want to be with someone is manipulating him. It's this nice commentary that like I don't think a lot of people are latching onto as I did. The anime is a typical shonen anime until about episodes, I want to say 7. The episode Gunfire is some of the most immaculate storytelling I've seen from anime this year, at least from what I've seen. This and the Shibuya arc are things that remind me that Japanese storytelling is completely different than American storytelling, because the willingness to just kind of jump the shark and run from there. The Gunfire episode is terrifying, first of all. Like, having lived in America all my life and having seen these things on a daily basis, it's still scary to see. Even depicted in fiction, and there's a whole nother conversation you can have about the ethics of that, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm trying to tell you how effective it is. It's a super effective way to kind of just gut punch your audience and get them on their heels, because first thing that happens in the episode is that Makima gets shot, and we're like, fuck, that was the main character, that's Denji's like whole like motivation, what the fuck are we in for? And then the reveal of Makima being alive somehow, because they never explain it, and I love that again, because it's building this tense relationship between what the fuck is Makima for the audience, but also that Denji is unaware of the power that Makima holds, is so good, because I love it. It's a tension that's so palpable, that like there's this sexual tension they had a few episodes back, where like Denji is being given the option to fulfill his sexual like fantasy or whatever, but then also the factor that there's a power dynamic that is unaware to Denji just below his nose, and we know it but he doesn't. It's an awesome way to tell that. But they kill one of the main characters that we've been hanging out with, that's been a pivotal character for Denji's growth in a few episodes, making an actual friend in the public safety organization, just for her to be ripped away from us, like the episode after we get connected to her. Even if it's based off a weird relationship between the two in those previous episodes, there's still a dynamic there that we grow attached to her because of Denji's like want to be loved, but at the same time knowing that he has boundaries, and like it's this weird setting that I really like. But having that relationship be solidified, at least the episode before, and then it being ripped away from us, is awesome, because like again, American storytelling would not do that. they wouldn't just like introduce a relationship and then rip it away from you. They would just let it grow until they're like, oh, we're kind of bored with this, and then they'll rip it away. That being said, again, Gunfire episode is fantastic. It gets you in your heels, and it kind of sets up the rest of the season perfectly. And that on top of the action jam-packed into the end of the season is fantastic. The show, 8.5 out of 10. Like, I had a ton of fun with it. It knew what it needed to do. Those first few episodes are a little rough to get through at first, but again, I think it's a lot of setup to the foundational ideas of the show and around the character of Denji. Now into the movie, Chainsaw Man, the Reze arc. I'm going to just kind of skip her name, and I'm not, because she has a different name in the movie. Again, the movie jumps into the same ideas that we were given in the at the beginning of the first season. Denji just wanted to be loved and cared for, and that starts with a date with Makima. After Power has to get her blood drained because she's becoming too powerful, that they can't handle her because she's growing more horns, but that's neither here nor there. It starts with that date where he's not really enjoying himself all too much at the date, but it's mostly based off her enjoyment of the date. It's a nice reflection there, and then she's still using that as a pivot to kind of just gain more of Denji's trust and more of his willingness to just kind of be her dog, essentially. And that being mirrored on the side when he meets Reze in the photo booth, not the photo booth, in the telephone booth, where she kind of has this like general like laxness to her. That's very much the antithesis of how Makima has this relationship with Denji, where it's like this distant relationship with Denji, where she's still at control but not letting him get close enough, where he has any ability to affect her mood. But Reze lets Denji in essentially, and basically invites him to be this like close participant with him. It's a wonderful, like, beautiful romance anime at the beginning of this. Like, even though we're still in this having to deal with Denji's conflicted matter how love works, it's this beautiful like film. It's a beautiful romance film at this beginning of the film, and it's wonderfully done, perfectly done, and it's like this. It's like watching the memory of your teenage love, essentially, throughout this beginning of this movie, and it's fantastic. It's fantastically done. It's animated perfectly, where at points in time where things are still a little fuzzy, but also having this like fantastical feel to the romance. It's done wonderfully. And then we hit a switch. When the Typhoon Devil and whatever the fuck that guy's name is show up, and she just flips a switch where she has like this blankness to kill, and it throws the question out there. And this is where the movie kind of turns right back into that show. Reze's revealed to be the Bomb Devil is fantastic, because we're lured into the sense of like where Denji feels secure with her, where he is willing to like forgo his life that he's been building for himself to a degree, where he's still conflicted about leaving with her. You can tell that he still wants to like gain her approval, and it's this wonderful moment. It's very tense because it's like, okay, what's his decision gonna be? It's like watching a romance anime when before they confess, and then having that switch where she bites his tongue off. It's haunting. It's an awesome reveal, and again, that switch that it literally switches the film entirely, and I love it. I think it's an awesome reveal, and it's fantastically done. The design's a little weird, I'll admit, for her, but I enjoy it so much. I enjoy pieces of her design, mostly the collar. She's been wearing this collar all fucking movie long, and her just pulling it and like verbally activating it is fucking dope. She's a dope character after she reveals herself as the Bomb Devil. She's super like seamless. It feels like she's not giving much effort because of how dangerous she is. Again, we don't have to explain how powerful the Bomb Devil is because of our experience in real life, through the real life experiences that we see on a daily basis. Fantastic use of our previous experience to enhance the movie's storytelling without having to sit down and be like, here. It's so cool. The animation here is fantastic. Um, it's so awesome, and I won't. There's not much more to spoil it after that point in time. It's more about basically It's basically a whole ass fucking fight after that. The first two acts are the romance between Denji and Reze, and then the middle part where we're still in where Denji's having to decide. The third act is like that big kickoff when she reveals herself, and it's bonkers, dude. The animation's fantastic. It's funny. It's fun. It's destructive. It reminds me of the Shibuya incident for how explosive and like devastating this sequence is. Like I'm telling you, it's devastating to a point where like I'm like, holy fuck, how do you bounce back from that? It's fantastically done, fantastically animated. It is so much fun. That third act, as well as having some of the best character moments between the cast. It's fantastic. I absolutely adored it. That third act. Like I won't be surprised when I wrap up the movies for the year and I talk about this in the top 10 of the year. I simply it will be in the top 10. It was a fucking blast. It was fun. It was awesome. It was deep. It was perfectly done. And I haven't watched the Infinity Castle movie because I'm behind on Demon Slayer yet. But Chainsaw Man blew my expectations out of the water when it comes to the show and the movie. It was fucking amazing. If you haven't watched Chainsaw Man, please do yourself a favor. Go watch Chainsaw Man and go watch the movie. It's in theaters right now. Chainsaw Man is on Crunchyroll or whatever anime site you want. It's 12 episodes. It went by pretty quickly. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed Chainsaw Man immensely, more than I thought I ever would have.